Johnnie, did a number of players the other night against Wycombe impress you to perhaps get inclusion in the side against Cheltenham tomorrow?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I think there was a lot of lads who performed really well on the night. I thought it was a really good team performance, good win. I was really pleased with the night's work, and I think a lot of people showed themselves and made a case that they should be playing.
How are we shaping up in terms of the team? Any injury concerns?
No injury concerns. Obviously, we had a bit of a split group the first day back in after Tuesday night, because obviously some lads were on a bit more of a recovery. Everyone went outside and done some work, but some just obviously done a little bit more, a little bit less, depending on their involvement on Tuesday night. So we managed that on the first day, but the group came together today, Friday, to prepare for Cheltenham, and everyone was out there.
Of course, we had an emphatic victory over them in the FA Cup last season. Much has changed since then. What are we expecting tomorrow?
Yeah, a tough game. Tough place to go, always is. Be completely different to that game. Obviously, we had a great result that day, but a lot's changed since then. Different manager, different personnel, and I know they'll be bang at it in front of their own crowd. They got good win there on opening day in front of their own supporters, and they'll be wanting to back that up. So it's a tough place to go. We know that, but it's pitch looked good when we watched the games, and it's a tight little ground, and we got to be bang on it if we want to come away with something.
Of course, sadly they'll be without Harry Pell, who returned there in the summer. Of course, he's going to miss the majority of the season. That's a bad blow for them.
Yeah, I mean it's a really big blow for them as a club, because of what Harry can bring to them and the reason that they brought him in. But more importantly for us, and for him, but for us as a club, and me as a manager who's worked with him, we're gutted for the lad. Obviously that he's going to miss that period. I know he was excited about going back there. Having spoke to him since he moved there, and I know how much he was looking forward to it. So really disappointed for Harry. It would have been good to. Hopefully we do still see him at the game, but obviously he won't have any involvement, and it's a pretty serious injury that he's got there. So obviously, as a football club, we all wish him the very best for that.
Absolutely. Another player that you worked with, good news this week about Casey McAteer signing that deal at Leicester.
Yeah.
That's good from our point of view in terms of players perhaps being loaned to us from a higher level.
Yeah, we always talk about what a platform that this club gives people to go and perform and get moves to higher levels, or for loan players, the success that we've had with that. Casey's obviously a great example of that. We had him for 6 months, and we really enjoyed having him here. I know for a fact, because again, spoken to him since, how much he enjoyed his time here and how beneficial it was to his development. So for us to see him go back to Leicester, getting their team last season in the Championship and do well, and then obviously get the promotion, and he signed a new deal now. So it's brilliant for him, great for us, and obviously I think that you're right, that can definitely help us when teams are looking at us as a potential to send their young prospect out to get that experience and that exposure. Where better than to come to Wimbledon.
That's exactly. He said in his announcement afterwards that that he learned a lot when he was here as well. So that really reflects well on the club.
Well, he did. Yeah, it was his second loan, which can often be the one that really sort of catapults you to bigger and better things. And I think he learned a lot here. He learned about being in the team, coming out of a team, and not always going to plan, but then having some really good moments as well where he excelled. So and that's part of a young player's development. That's why they send them to us, and to get that experience of what it looks like playing for those 3 points at the end of the week, and all the preparation that goes into it. So he was a pleasure to coach, and a joy to have with us, and again, we wish him nothing but the best.
But looking ahead now, of course, as well as having a big cup tie on our hands next week, it's the closing of the transfer window as well. What's the latest on that? How's that going on?
Well, we're monitoring the window. I think we've got a really big squad, a really good squad that we're putting together. We're developing it. We're not exactly where we want to be with everything, but I don't suppose many teams are at this stage. We're still developing into the team that we want to be, but really excited about where that can go, and the people that we have brought in, and obviously the ones that we kept. So there's a week to go. You're right, as we stood here today, and me and Craig will obviously be working hard and looking at things constantly in this next 7 days to see if there's anything that we think can help us, whether that's in or out, you know. And if we think it's going to make us better, then we'll look at it. But if it's not going to improve us, then we won't do anything for the sake of it. So it's probably just a watching brief at the minute and see what develops after the weekend, because you know there'll be a lot of fallout, I think, from this next round of games, and we'll see what happens with that. So we're monitoring it, but wouldn't say anything's necessary around the corner just yet.
That's the interesting thing, though, isn't it? In the last week, I mean, some of the bigger clubs, certain players, young players in the squad, can get released and filter down perhaps as options.
Yeah, I mean, you wonder why it happens late every year, but it always does, and there's no getting away from it. Yeah, teams keep players back until that very last minute, just because they're not sure, you know, what their squad looks like, or you know, you might get injuries. Anything can change the dynamic of a squad after any sort of given round of fixtures. So, and deals that might have looked one way at the start of the window got a completely different complexion come next Friday. So there's that to bear in mind as well, especially, you know, a club like us that has to be quite prudent in the business that we do. So that's why things often happen late, because in those last few days there's always a lot of moving parts, and that's why it's important that we got our finger on the pulse. We're watching it constantly, ready to strike if we feel that we need to.
But for now, the focus is very much on Cheltenham. We're taking a big support there again as well tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, obviously me and Craig are having those conversations, but the focus was obviously on Wickham, and as soon as that game finished, it's changed to Cheltenham now. So it's a big game for us. We want to go down there, put on a really good show, because we'll take a load of fans like we always do, and we'll be aiming to come away there with the 3 points and back up what we've done really well in midweek.
Brilliant. Thanks for your time, Johnnie.
Cheers.